In Verona, Italy, there is an ongoing feud between the Montague and Capulet families because of an ancient grudge.
Audio preview.
One day, the servants from both houses are engaged in a street brawl that eventually draws in the family patriarchs. Meanwhile, Romeo, a young man from the Montague house, laments his unrequited love for a woman named Rosalind, who was vowed to remain chaster for the rest of her life. Romeo and his cousin Benvolio happen to stumble across a Capulet servant.
Yes. Are we there in the list?
Peter, who is trying to read the list, invites us to a masked party at the Capulet house that evening. Romeo helps Peter read the list and decides to attend the party because Rosalind will be there. He plans to wear a mask so that nobody will recognize him as a Montague.
I have mask
Oh, why?
so that I am a Montague and this is a Capulet house of Montague with my father.
I have. Here, wear this.
Thank you.
Romeo arrives at the Capulet's party in costume. Falls in love with young Juliet Capulet from the moment he sees her. However, Juliet's cousin TYBALT recognizes Romeo and wants to kill him on the spot.
Wait. Why is this man is here? He's from Montague families. I want to kill him, but I want to talk to the Juliet first about this. Your Majesty, Lord Capulet.
Yes, TYBALT, what can I help you?
I recognize Romeo from Montague family, and he is here, and I want to kill him as soon as possible.
No, TYBALT, please don't destroy or disturb the party. The prince will anger this.
Romeo quietly approaches Juliet and confesses his love for her.
Hey, can I talk to you for a minute?
Yes.
Juliet, I know this is so weird,
but I fell so in love with you. When I first saw you,
Romeo, we have same feelings. I love you too.
After exchanging loving words, they hug. Afterwards, Juliet's nurse tells Romeo that Juliet is a Capulet.
Hey Romeo, did you know that Juliet is a Capulet? Juliet is a daughter of Lord Capulet.
Meanwhile, Juliet is similarly distraught when she finds out that Romeo is a Montague.
Oh my god! Romeo is a montague.
Later that night, Romeo climbs the garden wall into Juliet's garden, emerges on her balcony and speaks her private truths out loud. She wishes Romeo could shed his name and marry her. Romeo, I hope you shed or you make your name change and you marry me.
Juliet, I love you. I'm hurt because I want to prove that I love you so much.
Before they part, they agree that Juliet will send her nurse to meet Romeo at 9 o'clock the next day, at which point he will set a place for them to be married.
Can you please tell Juliet that we meet at 9 o'clock tomorrow and I will talk to her and be my wife?
The nurse carries out her duty and tells Juliet to meet Romeo at the chapel where Frair Lourence lives and works.
Hey Juliet, Romeo is waiting for you at the chapel, where Frair Lourence lives at work.
Okay, I will go.
Juliet meets Romeo there, and the friar marries them secretly. BENVOLIO and MERCUTIO, one of Romeo's friends, are waiting on the street later that day when TYBALT arrives.
No. Here's Romeo. Tell Romeo that I will challenge him into a duel in order to punish him for sneaking into the park.
Romeo happens to arrive in the middle of the verbal sparring.
Here you are, Romeo. I will challenge you to fight me. No, I can't do that.
At this point, Mercutio jumps in and draws his sword on TYBALT. TYBALT stops Mercutio and runs away, only to return after he hears that Mercutio was dead. Because of what happened to his friend, Romeo fights with TYBALT and kills him. When Prince Sastrellas arrives at the murder scene, he banishes Romeo from Verona forever.
You have done, Romeo.
He killed my friend.
And banish you from this place. You are not allowed to come here again at Verona forever.
Why?
That's your punishment.
The nurse tells Juliet the sad news about what happened to TYBALT and Romeo.
Did you know about what?
What? What happened to them?
That once passed away because Romeo killed him.
Oh my god! I know that Romeo will go TYBALT. When the police find Romeo and give me the ring.
That night, Romeo sneaks into Juliet's room and they consummate their marriage. The next morning, he is forced to leave when Juliet's mother arrives. Romeo travels to Mantua, where he waits for someone to send news about Juliet or his banishment. During Romeo and Juliet's only night together, however, Lord Capulet decides that Juliet should marry a young man named Paris, who has been asking for her hand. Lord and Lady Capulet tells Juliet of their plan. Juliet visits Frair Lourence and together they concoct a plan to reunite her with Romeo.
Lourence, I want you to be reunited with us. I need your help. My father wants me to marry Paris, but my love is Romeo. Please help me.
I'll help you with that. I will give wisdom. This is a for sure that will make you see that the make in you the Capulet word. And I promise you this word of a flatter.
Juliet drinks the Frair's potion that night. Next morning, the day of Juliet and Paris' wedding, the hair nurse finds her dead in her bed. The nurse is tell Lady and Lord Capulet of what happened to Juliet. The whole house decries her suicide, and Frair Lourence insists they quickly place her into the family vault. Fortunately, Frair John has been enabled to deliver the letter to Romeo, informing him of the plan. So when Romeo's servant brings him news in Mantua that Juliet has died,
Juliet was dead.
but Romeo buys potion and writes a suicide note detailing the tragic course of events. As soon as Frair Lourence realized that his letter never made it to Romeo's hand, he rushes to the Capulet tomb, hoping to arrive before Romeo does. Romeo arrives at the Capulet vault and finds it is guarded by Paris, who is there to mourn the loss of her betrayed.
I learned to Juliet. I want Juliet to help me, but you destroy me. Juliet is mine, but she is dead today. You are dead today, but she passed away.
Romeo kills Paris quickly. Then Romeo carries Paris' body into the grave and sets it down. Upon seeing Juliet's dead body lying in the tomb, Romeo drinks the potion, gives her a last kiss, and dies. Frair Lourence arrives to the vault just as Juliet wakes up. She tries to convince her to flee, but upon seeing Romeo's dead body, she seizes Romeo's dagger and takes her down life as well. After all happenings, the two families agree to settle their feud and form an alliance despite the tragic circumstances.
Shadow to my light, did you feel us? Another star